Good morning. Here we are, Wednesday, halfway through the week. Um, Looks like maybe we're going to get some rain. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I of course just saw the guy doing the gutters just pulled up, so hopefully he won't be making a lot of racket. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, I think I'm gonna. I am gonna do some work today because I'm obsessed. And actually, I really do want to get. I got two of the ceiling panels up, and I got those because there's a light fixture that has to go in that I want my husband to do. That's his thing, is like wiring. I don't do any of that. And I wanted to have that ready for him, so I did that. And then yesterday when I went out, there were birds sitting up inside the panel. I don't think they made a nest, but they were just kind of chilling up there. So clearly, everybody thinks, that's a little loud. All right, well, hopefully there won't be a lot of that. Clearly everyone thinks that I'm building, a ceiling just so there's more places for the birds and the squirrels and everyone else to hang out. So I need to get that closed up. Otherwise, I'm going to have, more people, more critters calling this house home than I need. And the weather is actually supposed to stay fairly nice in spite of rain. Still more or less in the 50s and 60s. I can't believe it, but that's seems to be what's happening. Good morning, Ruth and Dora and Deb. I hope everybody is enjoying your week. All right. So let's talk about today is let's talk about non-judgment. So this is another aspect of kind of yoga living, let's say, that we talk about, which is non-judgment. So I think people sometimes get a little confused on this one, right? We think that non-judgment has to mean that we don't have any opinion about something, or that we can't point out something that is wrong. And that's not true, right? Obviously, you're going to have opinions about things. And it is correct, right? If we see something that is wrong, or someone who is being hurt or treated unfairly, that we speak out, that we have something to say about that. What we mean when we talk about non-judgment is, hi, Sue. Well, two things. So the first thing is we are working on removing prejudgment, right? So when we talk about prejudice is prejudgment. It means that we are carrying over our thoughts or beliefs about certain things, people, situations from before. So before we've even gotten into a situation or met a person, We have decided what the situation is, who this person is. We are already set up in our mind. We already know where we're going with this. Um, we want to break that down. Um, and it's a very natural state for many of us, really for all of us, right? Our mind is trying to always make connections. It's trying to protect us. It's trying to give us as much advanced knowledge about things as possible. My husband told me about this thing that they did sort of a study on this what they call I think they called it thin slicing, and the idea is that your brain can make this connection, can see um, uh, recognize things and recognize patterns in just an instant. So, and this is a good thing, right? I mean, we want to be able to understand a situation going into it. We want to be able to remember, oh, I've seen this person before, or oh, this is a dangerous situation. I was in this before. I need to not do this. Um, so a lot of that is productive activity. It helps us. The problem is we then take it for in every situation, right? Um, and the other is that we don't really know it's happening. Right? Um, we mistake it for uh, um, we if we don't know that it's happening, we think it's logical. We think it makes sense when in fact it really doesn't. Right? It's a very primal thing. It's part of our sort of caveman brain that evolves to protect us and to keep us alive. But it doesn't make sense a lot of times. It's just like a feeling that we'll get. So knowing that we have this propensity towards prejudice, towards connecting one situation to something in our past or something we were told, a story that we heard. Um, Knowing that we have that um, tendency allows us to look carefully at what we're feeling and thinking. Is this what that is? Remnants of some past, something we learned as a child, or is it real? Is it something that's really happening right now? Um, we want to be in the now. We want to be in what's real. We don't want to operate under these sort of old thoughts from a long time back. Um, so that's one form of non-judgment, right? Not allowing ourselves to be stuck in this old loop, right? Knowing that that loop exists and then making the effort to step out of it. Um, the second form of sort of non judgment is this idea that we aren't responsible for everybody, right? Not everybody is our problem, right? We can be better that we are trying to be understanding rather than point the finger, right? Um, it's very easy to see what we see as flaws in other people and their behavior. Um, it's harder to turn that view on ourselves. But yoga asks us to do this, that um, we are much more, our efforts are much better spent policing our own behavior than others. Um, Everyone has to figure this out for themselves. And reaping the consequences of your behavior is the greatest teacher of all, right? Um, there is a whole, little section in the Yoga Sutras about this, that, trying to change other people, to point out their flaws, to say, hey, you're doing, you know, you're doing a bad thing. You're going to hurt yourself. Uh, it doesn't work, right? It makes them angry. It makes them hostile towards you. Um, they don't really change because, again, it's, you know, whatever they're doing for their own reasons. Um, so allowing other people to do what they're doing, um, not feeling responsible to change them or to point out the error of their ways, um, and letting them find out what the end result of their behavior is. It's hard. It can be very hard, especially if you're talking about friends, family members. Um, so, in this respect, um, and then, but of course, there are situations where you would want to, right? But not, again, that would be situational, right? So if this person is doing something unkind to someone else, you might point out to them, hey, what you said to Sue was cruel. Um, I don't like it. I don't think you should speak like that. Um, but that's a very different thing than saying, hey, you are always cruel to people and you need to stop doing that and change your ways because you're going down a bad path. Um, you might try that, and it's tempting, right? To especially, and this is something that you may find with yoga, is that when you found a way that works for you, you want to share it with other people. And sometimes people are open to that, sometimes they're not. Um, the main thing I think that the sutra is trying to tell us is you do this at your own peril. Um, you don't be surprised if it doesn't end well. And that may be okay. There may be people that it's more important for you to speak your truth to them and let the chips fall where they may than to try to just keep the peace. Um, other people, it may not be, you don't want to go there. You don't need to go there. They're going to find out for themselves. So, not forming a judgment. And then let's turn this toward ourselves as well, right? We were talking, and we've been talking a couple times this week about this idea that we may think we are lazy. We may think that we are all of these things, right? That we formed in our head. Either, maybe truthfully, we have been lazy in the past. Um, but maybe it's also a story that we were told. Maybe our parents said we were lazy. Maybe, you know, we had a bad relationship where, we were told that we were worthless, lazy, all of these negative things. And we've kind of internalized that. And even though we may be in the front part of our brain, we know that they were just saying those things to be unkind. Back here, we wonder, is that maybe they're true? Maybe they're right. Um, that's a form of prejudgment, of judgment of yourself that we don't need. We can discard that. Um, we are, in all ways, perfect. We may not always act on that perfection, but if you don't believe that, you haven't looked in here far enough, because we all come from that perfect source. We have perfect information. We have the source, the beginning and the end of everything within us. If you and that's can be kind of a hard thing to take, right? We may not really believe that about ourselves. Certainly, if there are people in the world that we find distasteful or difficult, we may really not believe that. Like, are you kidding me? That person is divine, has the spark of the divine? Tell me how. Well, it's it's just there. It isn't something that they were given or deserve. It just exists in all of us. You don't have to deserve that. You don't have to do certain things to have that. We all have that. We're starting from there. What we do beyond that, that may affect the outcome a little bit, right? Um, in yoga terms, they talk about seeing through a lens, right? So, this idea that we have this sort of perfection, but we cover it up with our own issues, problems, hang-ups, neuroses, whatever. And they make your lens different shades of opacity. Um, Sometimes you can see through the lens. Maybe your lens is pretty clean. We're trying to polish that lens up a lot. But sometimes it's really cloudy. And depending on how far you are from that source, it can get pretty dark indeed. When people are in that space, it's very hard to reach them, right? Maybe you're telling them something, but they can't see it. They can't even see a glimpse of it because it's so obscured. Um, with yoga, we're trying to peel away those layers. We're trying to clean that lens so that we start to see, oh, I get it. Yeah, I see that. I see that connection. Um, then you believe it. Then you can believe it. But it's harder before. You have to work on it. You have to kind of move towards there. But those of us who know this, right, we have to be able to extend compassion to those who don't. Um, know that they have the potential to know this as well. But they may never. They may never. And that's, I think, sometimes um, a hard thing to accept. To know that there are people walking around out there with the spark of the divine that they'll never know about. They'll never even suspect. And that is a sad thing. But again, right, it's everybody's own destiny and dharma to find this path. Um, and, you know, in yoga, right, and in, Hindu philosophy where they're talking about reincarnation and Buddhist philosophy, they talk about reincarnation. The idea is that you get better at it. With each lifetime, you find that path quicker. You something, there's some echo, something helps you get there, and it's an easier time every time. Um, but that some people are beginners, right? They don't really get it, um, and it may take a long time for them to kind of get with it. I don't know, maybe, but it's, so I mean, in that sense, it could, if you believe that, or if you believe it's possible that that is how it could be, that can help you, right? That can make you feel like, okay, well, these people have a chance. Maybe they'll get it eventually. Um, but in any event, what matters is now. What are we doing? How are we trying to work this path? Um, so no prejudice against ourselves. If you have had issues in the past, if you have negative feelings because of those issues, let them go. They don't do anything for you now, but hold you up, cover up that lens. We want to clean that lens off. I'm going to get some Windex and polish it up um, and um, not hold ourselves to beliefs that may or may not be true at all. Right? The real way to get in touch with what's going on right now is to look within, with meditation, with um, just working on that mind, body, spirit connection. We see what's happening. Um, and when you see what's happening now, it's much harder to hold on to those old thoughts. Those thoughts and beliefs kind of fall away. Um, and I like to um, emphasize that, right? When we talk about a lot of these things with yoga, it sounds like a lot of work, right? Doing all this stuff. Oh my gosh, I got to do this. I got to work on this. I got to do. You don't really. What you have to do is to be ready when these things are coming up. Um, when you're ready to drop away these beliefs, you will. You may not be ready just yet, but know that that can happen for you. You just have to keep going. Just keep going. Um, Yoga does not put anything on us. What it does is it helps explain the process that happens within us naturally as we are going through these practices, as we are starting to become aware of our inner structure and our inner um, workings. So, traditionally with yoga, people would discover these things sort of on their own. And then the idea of the sutras, the idea of working with a guru is for them to say, oh yeah, right, that's normal. This is normal for you to feel like this. This is why you might be feeling this way. Um, this is what's happening as you're going through this. Um, it isn't like, hey, you have to follow this, you know, step by step by step. So I think of the sutras and the niyamas and the yamas, they're a blueprint. Okay. So, and by that, I mean, not, they aren't like a checklist, right? They aren't like, okay, go pick up, you know, go pick up a jar of ahimsa at the store or whatever. It's not, you're not following a list. There's not an order in which these things have to be done. It's a big blueprint, right? So when you have a blueprint, um, it's up to you to figure out how you're going to proceed. Um, you have all of the information, more or less, right? Depends how good the architect is, but you have the general idea. You kind of see the picture, but it's up to you to figure out the component parts. How are you going to do it? Which ones are you going to work on? Um, knowing that this is the result, right? You're going to get there. But there's a lot of steps along the way. and but the thing is you get to decide how that's going to work for you. Um, and that I think makes all the difference. It becomes something that is really bubbling up. It is coming from you rather than, okay, here's a list of rules, do all of these things, and then come back and I'll give you more rules. Um, so, non-judgment. Um, it's helpful. It gets us in this state of right now instead of old time, right? And that's it. We always want to stay in the now, in what's happening right now, the reality. No matter how difficult, right? That can sometimes be the most difficult thing of all. Um, staying present, especially if your present is not so great, right? I mean, maybe things in your life are kind of rough. This is a difficult time right now with everything going on in the world. Um, and you may feel like up and down about that. Sometimes good things have happened over this past 9 months, and you feel kind of, like, wow, this is a hard time. People are really struggling, but I feel great. I'm having a really good time. That's a hard feeling, right? Um, Everything feels a little muted now. Um, so we're trying to, stay here, stay present, and be aware of what's going on right now. Knowing that, we're moving through this, just like we're moving through everything. And um, your reactions to this are normal. Um, it's normal to feel confused and up and down, and um, some days great, some days not so great. You know, just what happens is when we're trying to really control our feelings, we're trying to control our reactions, we'll get stuck. We'll get stuck in this like place that we think where we think everything was okay, and we'll keep trying to go back to there. Um, but that door is shut, right? All we have is now, and the door to the next. So we just be here and keep on going. No matter what happens, right? We keep on going. So, sitting up tall, it's getting a little dark in here, but I think it's okay. Breathe, relax the shoulders. Take one more breath. And then just hang the head down. Then we're moving around. Slowly make a big circle. One way and then reversing direction. Back to center. Let's lean forward here. Actually, just walk the hands out. Come on back. Hands behind. Squeeze the shoulders together. Gaze up. Back to your seat. Lean forward a little and move around. Big circle. One way and the other. Back up to your seat. Let's bring the arms wide or just up overhead. Interlace the fingers. Take a deep breath, and then we're folding to the right. Back up. Take a breath. Fold to the left. Back up. Let's lean back a little. And then bring the hands down by your side. Breath in and breath out. Arms wide. Deep breath. Exhale, hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers, lift the hands. We're gazing up, and then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up. Right hand down by your side, reach across with the left. And then switch. Back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Right hand on left knee, left arm behind, sit up tall, and twist. Back to center, and switch. And back to center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall, deep breath, fold forward. Oh, everything is kicking up out there. Now we're cutting grass too. Both legs out in front. Arms up overhead. Fold forward. Back up. Let's point and flex the feet. Rotating one way and the other. Bring that right foot in close to the body, squeezing the thigh in toward the chest. I'm lowering the knee down. Right foot comes in by the thigh on the left side. Sit up tall, take a deep breath, and then folding forward, reaching down for the foot or the ankle or the knee, whatever you're reaching here today. Back up, and let's switch legs. Sitting up tall. And then lowering out to the side. Take a deep breath, and then folding forward. Back up, both legs out in front. Deep breath, and exhale as you fold. Coming back up. Bend the knees. Let's bring the soles of the feet together again. Sit up tall. Fold. Back up. Let's lift the knees. We're going to catch a hold of the toes or tops of the feet. Lean back to find your balance. And then maybe some extension. Bend the knees. Feet back down on the ground. We're going to bring the legs wide. You can walk the hands out in front or down the legs. Folding forward to that place where things start to feel tight, and breathe. Coming back up. Legs a little closer, maybe the width of the mat. Fold forward here. And back up. Bend the knees. We're going to lower down. Take a few moments here to get comfortable. Bending right knee. We've got the right ankle on top of the left knee. You might stay here, press that knee away, or bringing the leg in closer to the body. Maybe extend the leg. And then set the foot down, switch. Working on the other side. And then set both feet back down on the mat. Let's bump the knees together. Walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Arms out to a T or goalpost arms. And then we're lowering both knees over to the right. Back to center, then moving left. Back to center again. Setting up for supported bridge. Heels back, close to the body. Lifting up. Finding a good place for the block. And relax. Lifting back up. Press back down on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Breathe. Knees together. Hug them into your chest. Moving side to side. And then let's try happy baby here. Reaching for the insteps or the ankles or whatever you can grab a hold of. You can move here a little back and forth or stay still. And then extend the legs straight up. Hands by your side. We'll start lowering down. And then getting comfortable here. Continuing to breathe. Getting comfortable in Shavasana. So this state of peace that we achieve in Shavasana is something that we can kind of hold with us all day long. Shavasana isn't a place, it is a state of being that you carry within you. We just, sometimes it's harder to find it than others. One way to think about it is this idea of a waterfall, right? The waterfall is everything, all the noise, the people mowing grass, the people hammering, the cars that drive by, all of the chaos and activity of the world around you. We are pretty much immersed in that waterfall um, most of the time. But even we can even be in the waterfall if we have kind of mentally, emotionally stepped back, right, into that hollow place, the cave behind the waterfall, where things are peaceful, quiet, calm, we can observe the waterfall. We can see the waterfall for what it is. When you're in the waterfall, everything seems like the waterfall, right? It's just coming down all over you. You're covered. You can't see any way out. Um, Everything looks like just falling water. You're just trying to, stay afloat, keep from drowning, right? Keep your head above water. But when you know that there are places outside of the waterfall, you can choose to dwell there. When you need to give all of your attention to that waterfall, you can. But a lot of the time, you can rest behind that. You can take a breather. You don't have to just sit there and let the water fall on your head all night, all day long, right? You might have to step out in there to get something done, but you can also take a break, step back. So, moving a bit now, making your way up to a seat. Let's bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for taking time for yoga and sharing it with me today. I hope you have a really good Wednesday. Namaste. Okay, let's get some meditation. You're going to have to struggle to focus past the leaf blower or whatever it is going on out there. Sitting comfortably, um, just regular breath. Breath in and breath out. So that can actually be helpful, right? So that sort of droning sound of the leaf blower, you can kind of concentrate on that, and that's not a bad thing. Same way, music can be very helpful in meditation. Um, you If you kind of focus on the sounds, and you can kind of get your, it will keep you from having a lot of thoughts if you're focusing on the sound. Um, the trick is to find music that isn't going to give you a lot of associations, um, or the words aren't going to interfere. Um, so yeah, but a lot of the music, like that I played in yoga class, any of the Sanskrit things, or just instrumentals, they're all unfamiliar enough that they won't trigger some thoughts and ideas in your head as you're doing, or not as many. You may still have some. Like listening to the leaf blower, I'm focusing on that like droning sound, trying not to think about how annoying leaf blowers are. But there you go. All right. So enjoy your Wednesday. I will be back tomorrow because it'll be Thursday. See you then.